Hey fellow Bob Ross fans, this is Bob Henson, and I made a little YouTube video to show you how I did on my first Bob Ross tutorial, and how I made a mistake on this first Bob Ross painting that I did that hopefully will save you some time and not making the same mistake as well. It was quite totally unexpected actually, and so I'd like to share with you what I did on this first tutorial. The tutorial that I used was done by, it's called Paint Like Bob Ross by Nic Hankins. And this tutorial was great because Nic Hankins actually did this painting in a room full of 300 people. He walked through this painting, he goes nice and slow so that you can follow along. You have plenty of time to follow along. I highly recommend this as your first Bob Ross or early on Bob Ross painting tutorial, because it's quite easy to follow, and it's perfect difficulty level. Well, so it seemed anyway. As I got into it, you'll see. Let me show you a time lapse of what happened when I created this this first video. And so here's a time lapse of me doing this tutorial, following this tutorial with Nic Hankins. And apply the cadmium yellow at the beginning and the alizarin crimson, as you can see, and then ultimately the phthalo blue. Nic works along at a very good pace for beginners, especially because he's got a room full of beginners. So it's easy to follow along and create your masterpiece with him. So now pretty soon I start to create my problem here. The clouds go on. I'm not too happy with the clouds. They're okay. I need a little bit more practice on clouds. But here, coming up very soon, is where it goes wrong. See if you can guess where it goes wrong, if my title didn't give it away. And so now I start putting in the mountains. Well, I had practiced the mountains before, especially the snow in the mountains. So I was excited to try some techniques that I had practiced with. All in all, I thought that snow went very well on the mountains. As a matter of fact, I was quite pleased with it. So here I am just plugging away. Didn't have any clue of my problem yet, and that this painting was not going to be able to be used. I don't think I could even repair it with the problem that I had. So I applied the snow in the mountains. I was thrilled. Now the next step, as you'll see, is you need to apply, after you dull it down in the fog at the bottom, you blend it all together. So now you put these trees. Well, this is where I realized I went wrong. My trees in the mountains are floating in air. So when you go and you do this tutorial, not only do you have to watch for the location of the mountains side to side, but you also need to look for the locations of the mountains top to bottom. You need to make sure that you get them far enough into the yellow, the cadmium yellow, to make sure that when you do ultimately draw or paint your mountains and you have your mountains come down, that you then can apply your snow, and then after you put your trees on there, they'll actually be able to create reflections in the water. You do want your shoreline to be close to that bottom of the cadmium yellow. So there you have it. Hopefully you'll try the tutorial and you won't make the same mistake that I made. And I'm actually going to give it a try again, and I'll post another video to time lapse to show you how I do on the next go round. So come back and check again, and thanks for watching.